Hey, welcome in. Well, this is going to be a bit of a somber video, but I thought it was time to try and get some perspective, at least for myself, on what is happening with this pandemic, with the narrative that's around it. Now, this is not a video to debunk anything, all right? I'm not going to put out any conspiracy theories. I'm not going to say that there's no virus. I am just trying to get some perspective, just for myself, all right? Just for myself, I want to get some perspective that I'm not getting from the people who are supposed to be giving that to us, which would be the mainstream media, CBC, that sort of thing. And whatever country you're in, it's pretty much the same situation. So I thought I would look at some statistics here and just see if I could get a bit of a deeper understanding of what's happening and look at it from a different angle to give myself a fresh perspective. Here's the CBC News webpage for British Columbia. What do we have here? We've got a story on Fraser Health changes school notifications for students, staff over the virus. We've got the virus claims 11 more lives as BC confirms 711 new cases. We've got the Vancouver Canucks anthem singer gets the boot over plans to perform at an anti-mask rally. Well, that doesn't sound like respecting free speech to me. But anyway, I want to know a little bit more than this. So I took a look. Now, you may be aware that Vancouver has a very big opioid problem. It's basically a crisis. And there's a lot of reasons for this. I mean, weather is one of them. It is just frankly a better place to be homeless, because it's not going to get down to minus 20 at night. And it is a very, very kind of leftist city that's very tolerant of human wreckage being everywhere and destroyed lives being in plain view. But let's take a look at these statistics. In fact, the overdose death statistics for British Columbia. And you can see it's gone up and up since 2015. It's really gone up. And you can see 2020, this is up to October. There are 1,386 drug-related deaths in British Columbia. And that's at a rate of 32.4 per 100,000 population. Now, this bar here will go up over the next months as the deaths are recorded. But that's 1,386 deaths. And again, 32.4 per 100,000 population. So now let's look at the virus deaths so far. Now that's at 492. So you have 1,386, almost 1,400 from drugs. You have 492 from the virus. So you have going on, almost 3 times as many from drug overdoses. I'm not sure this is being really widely reported quite enough. Now, if you take that number, 492 per 100,000 population, my math puts that about 10 per 100,000 as opposed to 32.4. So there you have, about 3 times as many. And this seems to be something that people in British Columbia are willing to live with. Now, it is written about. It does get attention. Now, nobody has ever suggested that, large parts of the economy be shut down because of this. Now, okay, it is a different thing in that it's not a communicable disease, although there are diseases associated with drug addiction and homelessness and all of that you can get, things like hepatitis, but it's not the same thing, but it does appear to be much more deadly, and it's only going to go up for the rest of the year. I mean, if you look at the monthly numbers, it was 162 in October. September 129, 159, they're very high numbers here. This probably has something to do with what's happening to the economy as well, right? I'm just saying that when you look at it from a different facet like this, does what's happening make as much sense? Does the response make as much sense? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. And we're not going to know until it's all said and done, if that's ever. Just going to interrupt for 1 second to say, if you like this content, subscribe so you can see more. Thanks a lot. And there's another point as well, which should be for another video really, of just is what is it about very liberal places that's willing to just live with just human carnage? I mean, it's not something you can get away from. If you're like in downtown Vancouver, you can't get away from it. It's everywhere. And it's also pretty much ignored for the most part. I mean, people just look away. I mean, they set up, injection sites and stuff. Doesn't really do anything, certainly doesn't change anything. So why are people willing to just exist around all of these destroyed lives? I mean, these are people's parents. These are people's kids. Just as people who have died from the virus are also people's parents, people's kids. But in the one case, people seem to be perfectly happy just for little Band-Aid remedies. And that's, I guess, an excuse to just otherwise ignore it. Even though, as we've seen here, these are official statistics. This is a government website we're looking at here. Even though you can see this is, at minimum 3 times as deadly. So again, why are people willing to live with this, but not live with something that's much less dangerous, at least in this one place, at least in British Columbia? It absolutely appears to be less dangerous. And you can say, well, it's because of the social distancing and everything that the numbers are down. I don't really see any evidence that proves that yet. I'm not saying it doesn't. Common sense would dictate that it should do something, right? It's just not totally clear that it has the kind of effect that people think that it has. And again, I just want to repeat that I'm not giving you any answers here. I'm just looking at this from a different perspective. This doesn't prove anything, right? And it doesn't mean that the people who have died don't mean anything. Of course not. And we have to also remember here that, with basically economic ruin for people, you're going to see the numbers in this column shoot way up because we know that, poverty, economic hardship is correlated to, drug addiction, alcoholism, suicide. You can see suicides here. This is for all of BC. Where was it in 2019? Well, it looks like it was about 620. Again, coronavirus, 492. That will go up. It will very likely surpass that number, but it's comparable. Motor vehicle accidents. You can see we're right at about 300 there for 2019. So you can expect it looks like it holds fairly steady and you can see here it holds steady. It's generally about 300 a year. I mean, if you add up just suicides and car accidents, that's going to be more than the people who die from COVID this year. Or very likely to be more, I should say. And keeping in mind that both drug overdoses and suicides will go up with economic hardship. There's no question about that. We know how it works. So I think I'll end it off there. I just think it's important to take a look at things from different angles when there are very serious economic choices being made that will affect people's lives for years, if not decades. Especially considering there is still so much uncertainty about the vaccine. They don't know whether it actually prevents you from spreading it, if it just makes you basically asymptomatic. We won't even really know the efficacy of it for a while yet. I mean, we're told it's 95%, but we won't really know that until it's in mass use, and who knows what the virus will do anyway. Will it mutate? Probably. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the podcast Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform, including Spotify. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.